How are you?
Good. The continual struggle of childcare showing up to get my young children before I get here.
Oh, it's all right. And I'll just wait to hear from them to start.
May have already come out.
They're good.
We good? We're good to go?
We're good to go.
All right. Good evening. Welcome to the June 28th, 2023 Apex Park Recreation and Cultural Resources Advisory Commission. This is a call to order. Let's start off with a moment of silence, please. So please bow your heads. Okay, thank you. Next, we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, next on the agenda is the approval of May 31st, 2023 meetings. Do I hear any questions or comments or discussion? Hearing none, do we have a motion to approve? Second?
I'll second.
Okay. Meetings are approved?
Which vote?
Yes.
Eyes.
Yeah. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Okay, minutes passed. Thank you. Now for the director's report.
We
Craig?
got a special guest here. So, Mr. Mayor, I think has some words to share.
All right. Good evening, Mr. Chair and Advisory Commission members. This is kind of awkward being behind here speaking to you guys. I'll tell you what.
Imagine.
I just want to come out tonight. First of all, last night at our council meeting, I issued a proclamation for Parks and Rec Month for the month of July. And it was really, thank you.
Yes.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
But everything in that proclamation, you can see, we really appreciate all the great work that you do for our town. With all the parkland and all the amenities we have here in our town, it really makes our town the peak of good living. So I know a lot of that goes to the planning of you and what you've done in your role here as the Advisory Commission. But I wanted to come out tonight because I understand you have some important business tonight with electing new members or restructuring chair and vice chair. And I know that Mr. Buck, my understanding, the buck stops here for you. And I'll have to give Director Setzer credit on that line.
How long you been holding that?
Hey, I just figured it out.
But what I would say is that you have committed a lot of time in this role. And there are a lot of people who have suggestions, recommendations, concerns, but they're on the sidelines and they fail to get involved. And for all of you to take your time, volunteering your time to commit to this role is truly amazing, and we really appreciate it. So, Mr. Buck, I know you have spent a lot of time away from your family. Thank you, Lauren, Hudson, and Taylor, for allowing him to be with us. And so I just want to take this time on behalf of the town of Apex, the council, and say thank you, sir, for all you have done. Well done, good and faithful servant. So thank you.
Thank you, Jacques. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Very nice. All right. Anything from you, Craig?
I don't have a lot to add after that, other than the fact that, I mean, I've appreciated working with you over that span, and just want to thank you for your time and effort. Good luck in your future endeavors, whatever they may be.
Well, thank you, Craig. I appreciate that. Working with you as well. Anything on projects or operations?
Did you want to update
Beaver Creek update?
any Middle Creek?
Yeah, so we are moving and shaking these days. On the 22nd, we had a bid opening for Beaver Creek Greenway Phase 1, 1A, and 2. We're pushing forward with hopes that we'll be able to award that in August for construction. So that, I know, is the Kelly Road to Nature Park, so a huge part of that east to west ATT to downtown corridor. So we're excited about that. We got to work out, again, all the financials and getting it on a budget amendment and all those things. But we think we're going to be able to get additional funding through Campo and LAP funding, so federal funding for that. So a lot of pieces we have to put together for that one, but we're anticipating hopefully being able to award it in August and get started probably within a few months after that, just based on all the approval processes. We are bidding Apex West, which is a tiny, tiny little segment that connects the ATT to side path along Olive Chapel Road. So it's about 700 linear feet. We've had a lot of interest and questions, so we're hoping we'll have 3 bidders and be able to award that shortly after, not have to do a rebid. And then Middle Creek, which we awarded in March, working on submittals, building permits for the structures, because there's boardwalk and bridges in that, and working with the contractor to get that set so we can do a notice to proceed and get construction started hopefully in the next month or 2. And I'm just going to say it, Pleasant Park is getting there. We took the Peak Academy folks out last week. There's so much going on, but was really good to get feedback, like initial reactions. It's always great to see. We had some drone footage taken that we just got today, and it's amazing to see from above. So I'm really excited about that. And we've got 2 other Greenway projects, smaller pieces. Sweetwater Reedy Branch has been a big gap we've had. That was awarded last night, so we can get that redesign pieces and that ready for bid. And then we're moving forward with the street hockey, had a kickoff meeting and have them started on those plans, survey scheduled, and we're getting ready to take the bike track and West Street Park to bid for consultants, so to design. So lots happening. We have 2 great interns that you met, but they're doing outstanding work. So we've got a lot of movement really fast in a short amount of time. So it's all good. Yes.
I have 2 super quick questions.
Okay.
As all the Greenway connections happen, is there a plan for updated wayfinding signage, and potentially, especially thinking about like Beaver Creek connection, some of the others, reaching out to some of those retail centers and school centers about, I know you think about this and know way more than I do, so that's why I'm like either promoting them, building connections to it, or at least providing information as we talk about more walkability and using those for transportation. Is that?
So,
I know it's a loaded question.
right,
but-
all of our Greenway segments, if we're building them and they have a access into a neighborhood, they're getting signage as they go in.
Okay.
So we're definitely getting that. As far as a bigger sort of regional look at, go a half a mile down the road and there's a Greenway from a location, not so much, but we're working on our website. First, we'll have to upload the master plan. So we had a call today about that. So we're going to have the web page for strictly the master plan and all the chapters and maps and all that. But the second piece to that is a individual Greenway corridor page. So if you go out to our site, you'll be able to look at a corridor isolated from that big map that we've been looking at every time we talk about a new project. And when we look at those segments, you'll be able to see what's under construction, what's out to bid, and we'll be doing hopefully monthly updates, especially on the projects that have activity. So get you more information out there. As far as, we've even had conversations about how we could use known apps that people like to use, like Strava and stuff, and get linked into that. And I know that Wake County and Raleigh and Cary and other municipalities smaller have talked about like a unified Greenway mapping thing together. There was some piloting and then it's kind of died down.
So are you connected with the Triangle Trails Initiative?
Yes.
Okay. And they just hired Ray from RS.
Yep.
So that is what that entire job is. So hopefully he will connect with you, or you guys will.
Right, and we tried to provide our Greenway data to the county in the same format that they utilize, which should replicate what they're doing in Raleigh and Cary. And so we're trying to get that GIS information shared, which would hopefully create, because most of us don't look at a paper map or maybe even a sign we've programmed in directions and we're listening to them or we're looking at them on digital devices. So.
And I know you're focused on getting them built, and that's the most important part. Sometimes we get things built and then not that we fail, but as a profession, we fail to promote to get people there.
Yeah, we do have our
You don't
own-
fail. Apex, hold on, let me, for the record, Apex doesn't fail. The profession as a whole.
We do have our own wayfinding, and
Okay.
again, we do that. We put them at the entrances, and where a connection intersects and gives you street or neighborhood names, depending, or a park name, whatever seems appropriate based on the location. And we also, the town has its own wayfinding program, which you've seen those signs around. There's more to come to get to our parks. There's a first wave, smaller, get the major corridors and stuff. So I think we'll see more of it.
And that was really my big question, was making sure that we're, as they become more connected, those signs are being updated. Thank you. Sorry to bug you a question.
That's all right. Anything else? No? Okay. Chairman's report, I have nothing. Public comment, is there anybody here from the public? I don't see anybody. Old business, none, so now we'll move to new business.
So a little bit different. I'm just going to start with this screen and then I'll move to. We've been showing you the PRGOS master plan map for so long. With the adoption of the master plan, we're shifting to this one bicycle and pedestrian systems plan map that is part of the transportation plan and also reflects all of the bike ped that relates to greenways. So this is a map that we've been using internally and working through related to all bike ped programming, whether it's transportation planning, engineering, or Parks and Rec. So this is the map you'll see when we talk about greenway projects or development projects related to greenways in the future. So I wanted to give you the overview because normally you only see this in small pieces. We're going to talk about greenway up here, or side path up here related to a request that was made during the master plan discussion. And so if you'll remember, during the master plan, when I went through 14 items of amendments to the Greenway plan, one of the requests was that we consider a bike ped facility from Holt Road to Davis Drive, Apex, I don't know where it ends and changes names, but Salem Street turns into Davis Drive. So across the Salem Schools property and Salem Pond Park property. And so we took that back to the planning department and took a look at it, and they were in agreement that that was probably a really strong need in that location. And so this amendment is a follow-up to that request. And so what we're requesting is a recommendation to add proposed side path on the north side of Old Jenks from Holt Road to the Davis Drive, Salem Street, whatever it's called at that point, intersection. And that's the big amendment and request for tonight.
Okay. Do you want to go through all three separately and
Do you want to make a motion, or do
make a motion individually?
we need to make a motion?
It's
on
just
that?
one,
We
it's
just-
just one amendment.
Just one amendment?
Yep.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to amend?
Motion.
By a second?
Second.
In favor? Opposed? Okay, amendment passes. Thank you, Angela.
That's good.
Now we can just get the greenway done. We'll do good.
We need business. We're gonna help.
Get you back up to this.
Thank you, Angela.
You're up.
All right, Mr. Allen.
Okay, thank you. Well, with the chair's permission, of course, I would like to deviate slightly from the agenda and just add my words of congratulations for your service, and thank you for, I know I've not been here the entire time that you have served as part of this committee, but certainly it's been a pleasure to work with you from this side of the fence. So
Alan.
congratulations.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, and then I'd also like to deviate slightly and then introduce the deputy town clerk who is here tonight, Ashley Gentry. She joined the town back in January, and so we are now a strong department of 3, soon to be 4. So she is joining us tonight, and would like to say welcome, but also thank her because She has helped a lot with some of the research that we've been doing related to advisory boards, polling some of our neighboring municipalities, looking at policy, and so those recommendations will have come through her. So I just want to say thank you to her and recognize her for being here. So
Thank you.
Thank you.
now we will start with kind of two parts to this new business item. We'll start with the first one, and that is recommendations to the Parks Advisory, Recreation, Cultural Resources Advisory Board for three-year terms that are expiring this year at the end of June, and we're looking for recommendations on who will fill those slots going forward for the next 3-year terms. You have your packet of information that was included that states that you have two current members who are eligible for reappointment. You can certainly make that as part of your motion first, and then move into recommendations for the one vacant seat from the applicants that were listed in your packet, or you can choose not to do that. But that's how I would suggest that maybe we proceed. Is we have two current members that are willing to continue serving. And again, this is a recommendation, but that's where I would ask that we start.
Yeah, okay.
Are there any questions on that?
Any question? No, that sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah,
So can we get a motion to
absolutely.
that effect for reappointments of the two members?
Do I hear a motion to approve the two members to be redone?
Motion to reappoint the two members that are current
Second.
board members.
In favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Nice, that one was easy.
I don't want Mary
Welcome
to go
back.
anywhere. No, Mary Lee's gonna stay with us.
What if we would have said, yeah, we want Mary Lee, but we don't want Tom?
Right?
We split that up.
I would
Do
say
two
let's
different
go
motions,
with
yeah.
I've already had that, been there, done that.
that. So, that was good.
Now we will talk through the one vacant seat. As you see, we've got several applicants, several different skill sets, several different backgrounds. And then again, we're just looking for a recommendation on who. You're welcome to discuss that amongst yourselves. Hopefully you've had an opportunity to review their applications. All of the candidates were notified that they were being presented tonight for a recommendation. And that's really going to be our process moving forward as we go through this and kind of work through it. It was the same. We kind of started this several months ago. So Planning Board had some reappointments. Housing Advisory Board had some reappointments or some vacant seats. And so we've done this for two other boards as well. So I'm happy to answer any questions if I can on a candidate, but certainly just looking for a recommendation. And you can nominate all of them. You can nominate one, you can nominate three. Those nominations you will not vote on. They will go back to the mayor to make a recommendation on.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I thought we, okay,
Yeah, I
so
thought-
we can nominate all three.
So we can kind of all.
So we can,
You can nominate as many people as you want.
we need to nominate
Kind of make a short.
how many ever, and then,
So,
Or we could just.
but Mary and Tom
are.
are,
Interested onto the mayor.
Mary and Tom are, do they also go to the mayor to get reapproved, or they?
Correct. All the action tonight
Recommendation.
is recommendations, yes.
so how do y'all want to do this?
I'll just say it struck me in reading through the different individuals, which I'm really happy to see that there are so many that have applied. So that's great. And I'd have to go back and look at their names, but there were two that had almost kind of direct connection to recreation in some way. So I was leaning towards, if we were going to either kind of shorten the list, that those are the two that started kind of sticking out for me. One of which had the kind of therapeutic recreation bachelor's, and then the other one is, I think, currently serving as a coach within the Town of Apex League. So those two kind of stood out to me.
The other reaction I had was that as we continue to expand the specialized recreation program, that having someone with some experience in that area might be an asset for the board.
The therapeutic recreation, yeah.
I think it was Jeremy, right?
Jeremy,
That is
that's Jeremy. Clemens.
Jeremy, right?
Jeremy, yeah, Jeremy and
Gosh, I'm like,
Is it Brian?
Brian Deloach.
he's the coach.
Brian's the coach. Okay.
And won the Apex Volunteer Award too, I think.
Right, won the Apex Volunteer
Oh,
Award,
that's right.
and was a student athlete, and yeah.
And we hope the packet of material, just to add a plug there, the applicants at a glance, that first page, we're hoping to expand that a little bit. Right now, we currently don't collect any demographic information from our candidates, and I think that would be helpful for you all as you're considering these recommendations, and certainly as the mayor and council consider these recommendations. As we know, demographics can be a wide variety of, diversity. It could be gender, it could be ethnicity. Let me look back at my notes here. It could be area in which, we don't currently have districts in Apex, but certainly we want to recognize that some communities have different backgrounds than others. And so how that's represented on our boards and how we're reaching folks. If we're not getting applicants from a certain area, what can we do? Are they getting the information? How do we connect with them and how do we reach them? So
My follow-up to that was, since my primary area of expertise on this board is being old, that age
Mary.
can be valuable. Well, maybe with programming too, but anyway, but I do think that thinking about age as a diverse.
yes,
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
certainly would be.
So, do we want to have a discussion between us to decide, do we want to be deliberate and send one person and make a clear message that we want our two current to come back, or do we want to send a couple? Because how I understand it is if we send four names up, then it's going to be up to the council to make that decision for sending 3 names up.
Yeah.
I know that's a kind of a loaded question, but I feel like we should have that conversation. Or 6
Does
names.
the council doesn't?
So the mayor will make a
Mayor, sorry, the
recommendation
mayor.
to
Yeah, I'm
council.
sorry.
So the recommendation from this committee will go back to the mayor. What I can share is that if there are comments that you would like included in that statement from this body, then that'll go to the mayor, and it'll also go to council as a reference or supplemental attachment,
Just
so to
as
speak.
information.
Correct. I mean, if you all say, it'll be noted that you voted on the reappointments of the 2 members.
Okay.
So, I mean, I
think as
don't
long
think
as-
that'll be a
And
question.
we're putting forth our recommendations for who to choose of that 3rd seat that if we've already made the vote to recommend our 2 sitting counselors to be reappointed, then we're putting forth however many candidates for the,
I just want to make sure we're clear in that, if that's how we all agree upon, because,
Yeah.
right, that changes the dynamic of it, so.
yeah. No,
Right.
absolutely.
And
That's a
we-
good point.
And we don't want Mary. Yeah,
Right, I would change my decision.
me too, right? Yeah, that,
If they all get put in a pool together and taken as one, I would change my decision. I would make a
that's why I
decision
asked
right
that
now.
question, yeah.
So just like the applicants at a glance was broken down into reappointments and then new
Okay.
members, that's how that statement will be referred to the mayor and to council, is that, we have 3 seats that are being considered. We have 2 that, would be reappointments, and the body, the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board, let me not leave out cultural resources in that. But this body has chosen to unanimously, recommend the reappointment of 2 members. So that would be clear in the statement.
Okay.
Now, with that all said, we all know that they still have the power to make any decision that they want to, but I think that sends the message that you're looking for.
Yeah, just so we're clear, whatever we send up is we're on the same page.
Yeah.
Since it's the first time we're doing this, I'd hate for us to.
Botch it.
Yeah. Since it's your, we'll just blame it. No, I'm just kidding.
But I think usually with reappointments, though, questions get asked. So just like with you, your position, you didn't apply again. So that will be asked, and we've already stated that. So, but it does get asked if someone has been serving and they are not recommended for reappointment, why?
Sure. Makes total sense.
Do we have nominations?
So, so what's knowing that the other 2 are separate, right? That we're unanimous that those 2 go up. If then I say, let's not pick one, let's pick a few or all and let Jacques pick.
No, I think we should whittle it down to.
I agree.
To at least, okay.
Yeah,
I was gonna say more than one.
Yeah.
And
I have 2 that I would recommend.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would say 2. I think 1 over the other only because if we're talking about age, I think I may be wrong. I may be the youngest. I may not be the youngest. I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. I know I'm in my 30s.
What are you saying, sir?
I don't know. I know I have the youngest children that I'm aware of, but I think
This meeting.
no. I'm sorry. See, I'm getting myself in trouble. No, but so
On record for.
it is on record. No, I'm being fair. I'm trying to be careful with my words. I think the spectrum of age representation, if at 37, 38, how old am I? I am the youngest or in the younger side of the spectrum of this group.
Same with me.
Okay. All right. I don't know how everybody is. I assume we're either around the same age or anyway.
That you would think that.
That my question is, it would be nice to have representation from
Yeah.
someone who's a little younger. And I don't know people's ages in here. I don't think it's stated. And I don't think we get that information. But just
I don't can't. Yeah.
again, so it's that's why I'm like walking down a little bit of a slippery conversation here. But
Region of.
I look at their skills and the
What they bring to the
expertise
table.
that they have and what they bring to the table. And
Agreed.
I think
That was
that's
That's right.
what I would look at.
I have an additional question, and that is whether or not, Alan, maybe you can reply to this, whether or not I should recuse myself.
Oh, from
That's a
voting.
good question.
So I would assume I would not be voting.
But she's.
Well, but I think
She's still currently.
So we're not voting, we're making
making
nominations.
Well, that's true.
So you can just choose not to make a nomination.
Okay, all right, okay.
why? Because
But that's a good
for
question.
reappointment.
She's still currently
Yeah, so I have a vested interest.
That's a good point.
because if we've already voted to put forth
The two.
the
two.
yes,
Yeah.
the
That's
nomination
separate.
of the two, then I
separate.
think voting on whoever of the
Of the other 5 or
new
6.
potential
Yeah.
appointees.
I think your input is very
I
valuable.
think yeah.
Yeah.
All right, okay, I
Yes.
just wanted to make sure
I
we were
don't
all
see a
agreed.
conflict.
I'm looking at you.
I don't either. I really don't either. No.
I don't see.
Yeah.
Okay, good
You're
enough.
just making sure your interests are
So
validated. It's fine.
we just need to make a nomination
Correct.
A nomination or nominations?
or nomination.
It's at the
Nomination.
pleasure of the board.
Yeah. Can we talk about the two? Because I think I'm on the same page
Yeah.
with the way you're talking.
So out of the 5, I would make a nomination for Jeremy Kroom and Brian. Help me out. Deloach.
Deloach.
Just based on their information provided and the skills that they have provided to us.
All right. Does anybody want to?
I have the same.
Same.
I have the same feeling.
Same.
Yeah.
Kroom's very, in my opinion, Kroom's a very strong candidate. Because then you go into the other levels of the MPA and the Master of Public Administration, right after the therapeutic recreation. The others, I could be persuaded, but Kroom is when I got here, that's the one that was at the top of my list.
I agreed. Out of the two that Kroom and then Deloach.
Mine as well.
So I guess the question for me, so 3 seats, right? And we send it over with our reappointments with our strong urgings that we would like for those two. But is it looked at like that? And then if we send 2 names with the understanding that those 2 names are for that one additional seat.
Yeah.
Correct.
Right. With everything being
make
a
sure.
recommendation. 'Cause the mayor-
Yes,
Right.
but with the understanding that,
At the end of the day.
it's since I've been here and in over a decade of local government experience, it's very uncommon for a body to discuss a decision like this and the mayor not to.
Right.
And I've worked for several different,
Right.
party affiliated mayors, and it's very uncommon for a board to make a recommendation for a reappointment
Right.
and that to be changed.
Alan, I'd like to make one further comment, and that is, I don't know whether or not this is the sort of thing that you do, but in looking at Jessica Shook's information, she talked a lot about wanting to understand better about town functioning and getting involved with that. And so I would hope that we would point out to folks that Peak Academy down the line might be an option, or that there might be some other ways in which, if for whatever reason they do not end up on this commission, they're able to participate and feel included.
That's a great question, and I appreciate you bringing that up.
Great idea.
Good.
We connect when what we're starting to do again is when an applicant applies, for example, once this decision tonight goes before council, it's final essentially, right? And so you have another year or 2 years before an opportunity may arise. So we try to connect residents that apply because we get those calls all the time. how can I serve? How can I volunteer? How can I be more engaged and involved? And if we don't have any seats open, then we try to connect them with those other avenues that they can pursue. Yes.
Anything else? I think everybody's on the same page.
Okay.
So
We've got
the one
consensus.
recommendation is that Mary and Tom be reappointed unanimously. And then for the third position, do we hear a recommendation to nominate Jeremy Kroom and Brian DeLoach as the third member?
I'll make a recommendation that goes before the mayor for that.
Okay.
Do I hear a
That
second?
position.
I'll
Okay,
second.
thank you, Renee. Second? All those in, what'd you say? I'm sorry.
I said I second.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Yeah, I don't know who said it first. Sorry. Rock, paper, scissors. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, great.
Okay. Perfect.
Thank you, Alan.
Yes. Thank you.
Great job
all.
getting that information, and
Yeah.
it's nice to see this process.
Great. I'm glad. I'm
Yes.
glad to hear, and we'll welcome your feedback. So as we
Much
continue
easier
to
next year when we understand a little bit more.
Yeah, sorry for my questions. It's my MO.
No, don't.
No, it's no. Don't apologize. I
And
think
let me clarify my comment. I think just doing a better job of making sure we are reaching out to diverse applicant pool,
Sure.
age and where they live, and like I work contractually with the National Recreation Park Association now, and we are getting volunteers from across the country to lead these big region boards, and I get a snapshot as the director of these schools to see where they're from, their experience and stuff, every little piece of demographics, and it helps that group make really informed decisions about, are we representing the country, right? So when we think about town, are we, like, I'd hate to see our entire board be from my neighborhood. As awesome it would be, it wouldn't be beneficial. So, or all be my peers that are, mid 30s with 2 kids, right? That doesn't represent the town. So that was, to be clear, that was my point.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Yeah.
So that's in a nutshell. That's
Yeah. Is that, I didn't, as someone who's done a lot of DI work, I should have said it better, but just to clarify myself.
Okay. We all good?
All right.
Okay. All right. So the third item of new business is to address the chair and vice chair recommendations. And so the way this process will work, just logistically, is I will distribute you each a ballot for the chair position. The chair will, of course, open up nominations. The current chair will open up nominations for the position of chair. You can state one name. You can state however many names, just like we did with the previous process. He'll close nominations, then you will vote on the ballot. We will announce the votes, who voted for whom, so it's on record. And again, this is a recommendation.
Wow. Okay.
Do you guys want to continue as chair and vice chair?
I'm sorry, I missed it. I was still.
Do you want to continue as chair and vice? Like, are we?
I'm
Oh,
no
sorry.
longer I'm done as of today.
the buck?
Oh, this is your
stops.
last one. I didn't know it was your absolute last one.
I didn't
thought it
know
was
that
just as
either.
chair
I
last
like
didn't
this
know
is
that.
6
Did you not?
years.
No, it's
I
a,
remember
no.
that.
No, he did, but I thought it was just because the chair. I thought it
I
was
think
just
it was in the material that he
chair.
was not, he did not wish to return.
Oh, right.
It
That's
should
what the
be-
blue.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I was just like confused.
I thought it was just as chair.
This is new.
So are they only doing the chair right now?
We're doing the chair and then we'll do the vice chair. So we'll get practice for 2.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so I'll distribute the
All
ballot.
right.
Do we want to know if anybody like?
Yeah, are we supposed to
discuss
it?
This isn't like secret.
Yeah.
One round.
See one of those pink.
Round 1.
Oh, here.
This is for chair.
Renee Pfeiffer. I know better.
So
Way
again,
to go out.
before
One
you
more
start
year.
filling it out,
Oh, I get a town of Apex.
Oh, well.
Yeah. Oh, it's not town of Apex.
No.
It's just a blue pen.
Can we just nominate whoever's not here? Just, no, I'm just kidding.
Some people who are not here are.
So,
I'm kidding.
And I know you are, but doesn't answer that question.
They have or they haven't?
sure.
They have one.
Yeah, so I will offer the 3 that are not here. I had to ask the question since they weren't going to
Sure.
be here as to whether or not they had an interest in performing in those duties or not. So Tom would not prefer that because he's actually trying to get Public Art Committee to be out on its own. We can talk about that later. And so if that occurs, he would probably just focus on public art committee, and then we potentially would have another seat available, potentially.
Right.
But that's down the road. Jeff and Mike both said they would serve at the pleasure of the mayor if that was determined to be something that happened. So
What is the role besides calling the meeting to order, closing the meeting? Is there any other role for the chair and vice chair?
I mean, honestly, like you're the lead of the committee.
Sure.
So I mean, you're the face of the committee, and I mean, other than calling the meeting and running the meetings, that's the main part of what you do.
Getting Craig to drive you around Pleasant Park when the gates are closed. It's quite literally what
That's really
That's the benefit.
what I have like Alan has done since I've been here. If there's another portion of the role, Renee could speak to that.
Yeah.
That she kind of played at other parts.
Couple years. Yeah, the main thing is running the meetings, making sure that the meetings are kind of, you're not veering too much. I'm trying to think what I did.
I mean, if you did
With
anything
John-
outside of that
I
project,
might have-
I don't know.
I don't know if I've met with John. Go ahead, Angela. Anyways.
That's fine. She was the chair too.
Yeah, she was.
One towards the other,
There
yeah.
are occasions
There
when
are.
there's hot topics
Yep.
that you might need to have outside meetings to kind of
You do.
gather information and provide direction or.
Yep.
We just haven't.
But I will say, in my, I don't know how many years I served as chair, it didn't happen very often. A few times.
It's just worth having that conversation with the group before.
And it feels important, right? Very, very important, right? But then when you get into the, like, what do you actually do? Like, you run the meeting, right?
And
so,
it's a presence too.
right.
Sure.
Having a presence here, it needs to be stable, and you need to make sure that there's time there and you're able to do it. That's
Right.
That's a huge part of that.
Right.
And I would also say that there are times when we're outside of the meetings that we're representing,
Yes.
the goals of the department and that sort of thing. And so I think there's a lot of public contact as well that happens. Is it appropriate for me at this time to ask Daryl whether or not he is willing to serve as vice chair, because we're going to have both of those to fill?
Yeah, so this is open discussion until he opens nominations.
Okay, or
And then once he opens
do you
nominations.
want to respond?
Or does anybody want to serve as chair?
Right?
I don't know if I necessarily want to serve as chair. I don't mind serving. I don't know if I want to serve as chair.
I think that's my response. I wouldn't say, hey, I want to be the chair. If I've demonstrated something to you all that you felt confident in nominating me and being the chair of this committee, I would accept.
And how would you feel about continuing as vice chair? Is that something that you
I
want?
wouldn't be opposed to it.
You would not be opposed to it? Okay,
I wouldn't be opposed.
okay, good enough.
Okay.
Okay.
What are we
So-
doing?
So this is chair.
So now
This
can
is,
So I think that helps Mary with
this is,
her.
Right.
this is the position of chair.
Even like with vice chair, whether or not that was something you want to continue to do.
all right.
So nobody is like, I want to be chair. Nobody wants.
I'll also just add in some boards, normally you have this natural
Sure. Well, that's
progression. So you have, a vice chair that's relatively new to serving as chair, vice chair, learning the ropes. If the chair has to be out, then they're the default to that. And so, in most cases, you'll see where the chair phases out, the vice chair gets promoted up. It's very, it happens, but sometimes, it doesn't. But that's normal, the process.
And I gained that experience this year. I filled in for Alan a couple of times. So, yeah.
There's
I
all,
was in Africa for like half the year.
I was also going to say that on some boards, you have a sort of a different format than the one here where everybody's got a 3-year appointment. And you have phased appointments. So you might have someone who serves for 3 years as vice or 2 years as vice so that they develop a lot of experience. And then they, will be eligible then for another appointment possibly. So lots of different variations on that.
All right. And quickly, Craig, what did you say the other gentleman said that Tom's going
So,
to perhaps?
Tom has basically kind of
Like to
said
not
no,
be-
Right,
in
right.
no other words, because of the potential of the public art potential. Jeff and Mike, they said if they were nominated, they would serve at the pleasure of the mayor and council if recommendation was made to be whether it's vice chair or chair.
Sort of like I said. Right. Okay.
All right, so what's next in the process, Alan?
So Alan, we have to write round one nominations.
Uh-huh.
That's where you write the person you're nominating.
For chair.
So you'll verbally state who you're nominating. So you'll say, I'm nominating Daryl, and then someone else may choose to nominate Jeff.
Okay.
And then if nobody else speaks, then it's between those two people. So then you'll write down who you nominate, you'll print and sign.
Okay.
Then it's the,
I'm
then
ready,
it's the official ballot.
Okay.
So we can go
Does that
down the
make
line,
sense?
right? Yeah.
That's all right. That's
Okay. And then once you sign, I'll collect them. I'll come up and I'll say, this board member voted for such and such. This board member voted for such and such. And then we'll have a tally of who voted for
Oh
who.
gosh, we'll start down there then.
So I'm going first.
I'll go.
I can go
Well,
first.
You go first because you're.
We'll take nominations first.
Okay. I nominate Daryl
Okay.
for chair.
Okay.
I'll start
This
with-
doesn't have to be a second process. It's just nominations.
So I nominate Daryl as well as chair. So do I not need to do anything then?
Nope, he's already been
There you
nominated.
Okay, perfect. So no comment then.
I would like to nominate Jeff Roach for chair with the understanding that later I'm going to nominate you for vice chair. to Give you another year of experience.
Okay, so we've got 2 nominations. Any other
I
nominations?
was gonna nominate Michael Cantors with same thing for chair. Kind of going with Mary Lee, just because he has
Okay.
been on this board for a very long time. He has a lot of knowledge in Parks and Rec. I mean, he's a professor of Parks and Rec, so.
So we've got 3 nominations.
Nominations.
Wait, how many? 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I got confused. So I just.
And just as a point of discussion, one of the things that's influencing my nomination is folks who've already had experience with going through a master plan process, which is kind of a tall order. And we're, about to kick off a big initiative with regard to that.
Any other discussion?
I was going to nominate. Well, I'm nominating Matt for chair.
Okay.
Be fun.
I was gonna say this is gonna be interesting. We
So
already have 4 disparate votes, so how does that end?
it'll fail. So we'll go around 2.
Oh, okay.
Can I say you can't nominate me for chair?
Yeah, you can decline.
You can decline.
I'll decline.
Okay.
But you're more than welcome to nominate me for vice chair if anybody's interested. But I'll decline. Sorry. Thank you though for nominating me. If that helps the.
No, it's fine.
Okay. Any other nominations? Okay. So we'll close nominations. Now you will write in your name. The nominees are Daryl, Jeff, and Michael. So at the top of your ballot here, you'll write in whichever name you wish to vote for.
Oh, okay.
Help me.
So you won't write in all.
We write.
Yep. So it says round 1 nominations. You'll write in Daryl, Michael, Jeff.
You write all their names?
Yeah.
And then we.
Spelling doesn't.
And then we rate the one we're voting for. We're
Correct.
Red.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
This is a K, right? K, and then Roach.
Okay.
And then who I'm nominating, one. I rate that name.
Who
So
you're
then we rate our printed name and sign it. Okay.
so official.
This is because, so 1, this is how council appointed their vacant seat, but 2, because the minutes from this meeting won't be back before this body and approved before this recommendation goes before council, we have some record that shows. Yeah, we can defer to the video, but we like to have hard copies of things that you
Sure.
signed. All right, I'll collect.
Now that we've done it once, I understand. It's very.
We haven't done it
They haven't
before.
done it before. I just keep, that's what I keep thinking.
So is I.
Missed this meeting in the past? Like, I don't
No,
have no clue.
no.
Okay, the ballots read, we have Jeff Roach, by Mary Lee. Daryl by Matt. Michael by Renee. Daryl by Alan Buck. Daryl by Lisa. Michael by Daryl. So we've got 3 votes for Daryl, so that's a majority. Okay. Any questions before we go through this again? So now this is position of vice chair.
See, Daryl, if you could have just stayed in the vice chair, this would have been so much easier.
I just.
Thank you.
Want to be learning. Thank you. Now that I understand what we're doing.
Yeah.
Now, do we have to wait until you open it, or do we discuss it?
Open nominations.
Go ahead.
I nominate Matt.
I nominate Jeff.
Has Jeff served as chair or vice chair? Okay.
I think he's due.
That's fair.
Any other nominations? Seeing none, nominations close. You can complete your ballots.
Matt and Jeff.
So do I vote because I'm nominated still?
Uh-huh. You can vote for yourself or you can vote for someone else. We should have done the head down, finger up, and then push it. Yeah.
Remember that?
That's hilarious.
I'm coming.
It's making it official.
All right. For the record, this is ballots for the position of vice chair. Again, a recommendation. This is for Matt by Daryl. This is for Matt by Matt. This is Jeff by Alan. Jeff by Lisa. Matt by Renee. Jeff by Mary Lee. So it's a tie. It fails.
Can I pull myself and just let Jeff have it since he's been on longer?
The second round.
Okay.
We're wasting so much. Make it officially.
Second round.
Sorry.
So we just, we
Just have to vote again.
do the same thing. You could get it really spicy and change your vote too.
I could vote for my, like, we could just keep going through it, but I can make it easy.
Like, somebody else besides Matt and Jeff.
I was thinking, do I vote for myself?
Anyone other than Matt and
Like, can I recuse
We're gonna do
myself?
nominations again, right?
Same
between those
nomination.
two.
We don't do that over.
Nominations.
Okay, all right.
Yep, same nominations.
Isn't this round 2 then?
Yeah, it's round 2, not round 1.
I'll cross out 1 and put 2.
Where's 1?
Yes.
It's that typo on the top.
Oh,
We did this 8 times.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because we were 2-2.
Okay.
And they, the policy said the mayor doesn't break the tie.
People change their.
Thank you.
They just people just eventually change
I've
their.
always been like
Like
fascinated
you
about
feel
jury
strongly
duty.
about your nomination, right?
So fascinated about like jury duty.
Also, like you're already serving, it's just a different
Right.
responsibility.
Alrighty. This is for the position of vice chair, recommendation, round 2. This is for Jeff Roach by Mary Lee. Matt by Daryl. Jeff by Matt. Matt by Renee. Jeff by Alan. And Jeff by Lisa. So the recommendation for vice chair will be Jeff.
Great.
Nice. Well, that was fun,
That's all.
right?
Exciting. It's very exciting.
That was like very
I'll have
official,
a
right?
watch on resting heart rate up a little bit.
You should feel important. You should feel important.
That's good.
Or confused.
A little bit of both.
For both, yes. So is that it, Alan, for you?
For me, yes.
Wonderful.
Alan.
Wonderful. All right. Well, with that, I will say we're gonna have a motion to adjourn, but I just want to say thank you for allowing me to serve. Everybody knows I love Apex, and it's been a true honor. And I promise you haven't seen the last of me. I will be around. I promise. And it's been a pleasure with all of you. And just please let me come to the ribbon ceremony for Pleasant Park. That's
Alan Buck who?
That's oh, now I'm Alan number 2 and you're Alan number 1, right? So yes, just please let me come to that. But I really appreciate it, and thank you to Jacques for those nice words. I appreciate it. So, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second? In favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Bang. Meeting's adjourned.
I want to be I want to be the chair again, just so I didn't get one of those. I know. Just